Hey, good morning. Good Sunday morning, everybody. It's about 7:56. I apologize, I'm a little out of it. I'm tired still. I just woke up. So, you're gonna have to, I'm gonna have to apologize if I seem a little out of it. But yeah, I was gonna read off something I was gonna read last night, but fell asleep before I could do it. Yeah, but this is uh, Vorka. This is Vorahk295 off of Art. They did this a couple days ago, I think, and it's entitled up there, and I'll probably put the name as well. I'll probably put, well, it'll be a similar name to what you see, but what Vorahk295 calls it is yet another rant, Flynn versus Metal Sonic. And basically this is what Vorahk295 says about it, and I quote, "Okay, so I've already ranted about Flynn's complete destruction of two characters, those being Fiona and Mecha Sally. I may have to read the Fiona one soon if I haven't yet. And now it's time to target another. This time it's a personal favorite villain of mine, Metal Sonic. So I might be biased, a little, but hopefully that won't stop me from making a few good points. The most surprising thing about this is that Metal is a Sega character. However, he's a robot, so he can be blown up anytime you like and brought back, so he's not affected by the mandates. First off, let's talk about Metal Sonic MK1, also known as Shard. Metal MK1, as I prefer to call him, was the first Metal Sonic introduced in the comic. He was in the Sonic CD adaptations, rebuilt. He was in the Sonic CD adaptation, rebuilt and used against Knuckles, and the Chaotix, an adaptation of that game, which also used Metal Sonic Kai, known to the newer fans as Titan Metal Sonic, years before 230 and 231. And then finally, in a reference to the movie, he kidnapped Tails and tied him up at the top of Mount Mobius. He then proceeded to, which then proceeded to erupt. Upon realizing that Sonic and Tails would not abandon each other, he briefly developed sentience and held back the lava for them to escape, melting as he went. A rather sad and touching moment, really. Flynn proceeded to screw that over by randomly saying that there was enough of him to be brought back, and then doing so. Way to ruin the sacrifice. That's like if Matro randomly came back into the Bionicle storyline after 2007, wherein he sacrificed himself to reboot the entire Mantron universe. I don't know much about Bionicle, but I kind of get what he's saying there, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you do too. Now let's talk about the current Metal. You should be familiar with his game counterpart. Game Metal is a complete badass, never speaking except for in one game. Again, I apologize if I'm a little, out of it right now. I just woke up. Okay, Game Metal is a complete badass, never speaking except for in one game. He was also the final boss, Metal Overlord. Neo Metal Sonic was one of the coolest designs ever. And the Overlord form itself is also awesome. He is always a force to be reckoned with, and typically Robotnik's right-hand man. However, in the comics, Metal is in fact a bit of crap. In the recent arc, there have been 2 or 3 Metal Sonics, and all of them have been destroyed. We all know about the self-detonating one, but the other one also got destroyed by Shard, and I think one died on the Death Egg too. This is Robotnik's ultimate creation, and Flynn is using it as a common mecha mook. Always playing second fiddle to the Robian squirrel who can't even defeat Amy. Not to mention the fact that the heroes are trying to capture her and are only failing due to shitty writing. I'm sorry if I swore on God's day, and that's my apologize. I mean, that's my fault, I apologize. You think that he would use this badass killer robot and keep his weak sauce enforcer away from the people who are trying to save her. Finally, we have to take into consideration it is rumored that this is all leading into a Sonic... Okay, finally we have to take something into consideration. It is rumored that this is all leading into a Sonic Heroes adaptation. So is Robotnik really Robotnik? Was he trying, or is he in fact being impersonated by Metal, who is using these fake versions of him to keep people unaware? Or maybe he's going to get pissed off about dying all the time and rebel. I've already got a fic based on this idea in the works, for the record. And that is Vorahk295's rant on Flynn's use of Metal Sonic. Now, you know, perfectly understandable how somebody who's a fan of a character could feel about a character like Metal Sonic. I mean, when you think about it, Metal Sonic is, let's face it, let's all be honest, is definitely a badass character. Sorry again for swearing on the Lord's Day. But he is definitely a badass character, we can't deny that. Metal Sonic, you know, is definitely a character that when I read him originally in the comics, whether it was Ken Penders or somebody else writing it, was usually somebody that matched wits with Sonic. There's no doubt about it. I mean, you take a look at the OVA back in '96, and to me, that's how you write Metal Sonic. You know, you write him to match wits, to be an equal, to know what Sonic's going to do almost before he does it. So, to me, it's, you know, I kind of understand where Vorahk295 is coming from. It's like, you know, you're taking this potentially great character and you're just saying, you know, hey, you know, screw it, I'm going to use him as if he's just another minion. I mean, you take a look, you know, you take a look and you know, people are always using the scan in the comic, but the scan they're using is when Eggman Robotnik introduces his Team Metal series to his Grand Masters of the DEL. Now, first of all, one thing I'm pretty sure a lot of people point out, and I'm sure Vorahk295 points out, is Sally's not a metal. Sally's a mecha. In other words, she's roboticized. The others are metals. So, and it's kind of surprising you didn't see the Metal Amy character there, so maybe that's the spot she was meant to be in. But then again, who knows? But again, I kind of understand what he's getting at there. So, and you know, and this is also the first time, I will say this in reaction, this is the first time I've heard about a Heroes adaptation, Sonic Heroes adaptation to the comics. I mean, you know, for the comics. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens there. Maybe it's going to lead to something. We don't know. But it's only rumored. So that's all I'm going to say, and talk to y'all later.